What is up, guys? Rick Hackis here, and today we are talking about the Thagomizers, exotic Titan Gauntlets, kind of, in Destiny. Now, the reason I say kind of is because these are an example of a hidden exotic. An exotic that we know about, but currently don't know how to get, or much more likely have just been removed from the Destiny loot table. So why are we talking about an exotic that you can't get? Well, simply put, these hidden exotics do have a way of making it into Destiny. With the upcoming Rise of Iron expansion, there is a distinct possibility that a lot of these hidden exotics will finally be properly introduced into Destiny. Furthermore, there is a chance that these are just randomly introduced in a future update. That's actually exactly what happened with the Twilight Garrison exotic Titan chest piece. It was a hidden exotic for quite a while until it was just finally introduced into the loot table with an update. Now, we first saw the Thagomizers when exotics for the Taken King expansion were being revealed, and we haven't seen it since. Now, the Thagomizers bear a very close resemblance to the gauntlets being worn by this Taken Cabal leader that you fight during the Taken King campaign. Although this guy has been killed in every possible way, and he does not drop the Thagomizers, so it is unlikely that he is the source of this exotic. And frankly, considering the Grasp of Malik pulse rifle drops from Omnigul, you know, something associated, even if this guy actually is wearing the Thagomizers, something associated with a piece of loot is not always the way you actually get it. Now let's go over the Thagomizers perks and how it would fit into the game, especially considering these could be introduced in only a few months. The first exotic perk that comes with these gauntlets is 1-2 punch. Fist of Havoc kills recharge your melee, and melee kills recharge your Fist of Havoc. You also gain an additional melee charge. So this is the main exotic perk. This is what makes these actually exotic, and it is quite an interesting ability. The first part of this perk is so interesting, where your Fist of Havoc, so if you're playing a Striker Titan and you're using your super, it's going to recharge your melees. Now that's actually not the most amazing ability. You're, using your super every once in a while and you get additional melee charge, kind of whoop-de-doo. But the fact that this also synergizes with, heck, the second half of the sentence where your melees are also recharging your Fists of Havoc, that is really interesting. You can play Striker, you're going to get an additional melee charge for your Storm Fist, so you're going to be meleeing stuff, doing a ton of damage with that, and doing it a lot more often, and recharging your super more often because you're doing this, and then using your super is going to further recharge your melees, to which are going to further recharge your super. Like, it just goes back and forth, and you just have a very synergistic build that you could, construct just with these exotics. Like, you put these exotics on, and you basically have a pre-constructed build that people are going to go out and try to make. And I absolutely love that idea. I love exotics designed like this, where it basically is like a make me, like it's a big beacon. Make me, make a build around me. That is the kind of exotics that we're looking for in Destiny to really improve the diversity within the game. Now, the Titan actually already does have an exotic that grants an extra melee charge, the Insurmountable Skullfort exotic helmet. Now, on top of granting an additional melee charge, the Skullfort also makes it so that your Storm Fists start health regeneration immediately and make you spawn in with a melee charge. Now, that actually sounds pretty useful, but considering you almost never see the Skullfort in PvP, and even in PvE I don't see it. Even in just like strikes, I don't see anyone rocking the Skullfort. Perhaps a different take on a melee focused build for the Titan is necessary, and perhaps incorporating the super into these melee abilities, which is what the Thagomizer does, is what is needed to make a competitive melee focused Titan build possible. I mean, there are certain builds that have melee aspects, but not a really melee focused builds where your melee, you're maxing out your strength. The first thing you do is max out your strength, and melee is absolutely key to the entire build. that doesn't really exist in an extremely competitive capacity, and I see this actually turning it around. I would love to make a PvE, forget PvP for a sec, but a PvE build with the Thagomizers would be fantastic. Being able to use your Fists of Havoc more often, and then you could use the bad juju with that to further charge your super to just get more melees even more often, or you could even use the Monte Carlo with this build and then have your melees recharge even faster, and when you kill an enemy you have the chance to just get your melee instantaneously. So there's just so many possibilities when talking about designing builds around this exotic ability. But let's move down the list and talk about the other perk that comes with the Thagomizers. Now, in the second column, there is going to be the first thing you can choose is Rain Blows, which increase your melee attack speed. This obviously makes sense, would be very synergistic with what we have going on with the rest of this exotic and the build that's bound to follow it. Now, the other thing you can choose is a randomly selected perk between Momentum Transfer, so you gain bonus melee energy on grenade hits, or Impact Induction, bonus grenade energy on melee hits. So basically you can choose to even like further amp up your melee regeneration, to just have your melee's ability up all the time, or use some of this melee ability because you're gonna be meleeing a ton of stuff. Use some of this to further get another resource in your grenade. Again, everything is so synergistic with this exotic. I absolutely love it. And of course we have the third column perk, which is just a random selection of different loaders. A fusion rifle loader, hand cannon loader, scout rifle loader, etc. And I'm just seriously sitting here thinking about getting auto rifle loader so I can reload my Monte Carlo even faster for the absolute Titan melee wombo combo build. So those are the Thagomizers, a very interesting and potentially very powerful addition to Destiny, spicing up Titans by giving them access to a new melee-focused build centered around the Striker subclass. Now this very well may become part of the game if the Thagomizers are introduced with the release of the Rise of Iron expansion coming soon. Now that is going to be it for today's video. What is the next hidden exotic that you would like to see covered? Leave it in the comment section down below. Now if you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you want to see more Destiny content in the future, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCactus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day. Now I got to play Titanfall 2 recently at EA Play. I was invited out to LA to attend a special Titanfall 2 event where myself and a few other YouTubers were able to play the game for a decent amount of time early. We were also given some exclusive Titanfall 2 multiplayer gameplay, which you can see playing in the background during this video. A lot of it was from the trailer, but there's actually quite a bit of it kind of extended beyond what was in the trailer, and actually featuring some new weapons that weren't seen in the official multiplayer trailer, so that's definitely pretty cool for Titanfall fans. Now let's get started by discussing what new features were added in the Titanfall 2 multiplayer.